Hello and welcome to the Intel Brief. Today is Tuesday, the 30th of June. I'm your host Daniel, and today we're going to talk about a Ukrainian oligarch has reportedly been injured in a blast in Monaco, Russia is pounding the gates of Ukrainian's fortress belt, and fuel shortages are spreading across Russia as Ukraine continues to strike oil facilities. So firstly, a Ukrainian oligarch was reportedly injured in an explosion in Monaco in what the authorities are treating as a targeted attack. The blast struck a vehicle associated with the individual in a high security principality of the country. Monaco police have opened an investigation and are working to establish the circumstances and for those who are responsible. No group has claimed responsibility, and Ukrainian intelligence has not publicly commented on the incident. So what? It seems highly likely, almost certain, let's say, that this was indirectly or directly conducted by the intelligence services of either Russia or Ukraine. I think it's most likely that it was Ukrainian intelligence and they targeted him due to his support of Russia. So this individual renounced his Ukrainian citizenship in 2023 and has been in exile ever since. I believe he got citizenship of Cyprus following that. He apparently owns a lot of businesses in Crimea and was quite supportive of Russia's takeover of the peninsula. But I do think there's also the possibility that this was a targeted attack by Russia. You know, there's a lot of backdoor deals that go on within the oligarchy of the former Soviet states. And it's quite possible that he was looking to, turn back towards Ukraine. Maybe he was becoming outspoken against Putin or something like that. If he has a lot of business interests within Crimea that are currently in a significant amount of trouble, it seems possible that he could become quite critical of Putin, and then he could become a target of some kind of Russian attack. So, there is always that possibility, but we might know if they catch the attacker. He reportedly ran towards the French border, so we will see. And next, Russian forces are intensifying strikes on Ukraine's fortified defensive belt along key eastern frontline sectors. The attacks have combined artillery, glide bombs, and drone swarms against hardened Ukrainian positions. The Ukrainian defenders have repelled multiple assaults and attempts, but are reportedly facing significant ammunition and manpower difficulties. The sustained tempo signals Moscow's intent to breach through the prepared defenses ahead of peak summer operations. So what? I do think it's likely that Russia will be able to breach through this area. If they put enough manpower, enough firepower onto one single location, it is likely they can breach through. But I think this is unlikely a sign of imminent Ukrainian collapse, as some Russian commentators might point to it as. Ukraine does face massive manpower issues, and they're likely going to continue to have these issues. They just lack the amount of people and this social willpower to just bring in millions of soldiers. It's been a problem the whole war. But they're trying to solve this through drones. So, ground drones and air drones are both becoming quite critical to the Ukrainian war effort. I think it's likely that Russia will continue to sacrifice significant resources for minimal gains in this sector. They may break through, they may gain a little bit more. They may even control all of Donetsk, but at the end, what was it all worth it is kind of my point. And lastly, fuel shortages are spreading across multiple Russian regions as Ukraine's drone and missile strikes on refineries and depots continues to compound logistical strain. Civilian and military supplies are both being affected, with queues and rationing reported across several oblasts. Russia has attempted to compensate through fuel imports and emergency stockpile withdrawals, but with limited effect. The shortages mark a measurable shift in the war's economic pressure, moving it deeper into the Russian interior. So what? I think this has the possibility of snowballing significantly for Russia and becoming a major issue as regular citizens become, highly affected by the war if they cannot get hold of any fuel. And it's almost an impossible situation to solve. Russia has so many locations it needs to defend, and it gives Ukraine the luxury of choice. As I pointed out in a longer form video over on the HM Intelligence channel, go check it out, the the massive problem Russia has is its vast space, which for a long time has been a super positive thing for it, but it's now becoming a massive problem because it needs to spread its air defense out very thinly, and it's getting smashed, to be completely honest. And then yesterday we had Putin saying that he's going to protect civilian areas more, which seemed to me like he was going to move more air defense systems towards Moscow and St. Petersburg, where, the core base of the Russian people are. So yeah, that will just hamper efforts to defend fuel and refinery locations. And this thing, yeah, just as I talked about, has a triple effect of hampering the war effort, upsetting the civilian population, and damaging the Russian economy. So, Ukraine is almost certainly going to continue with this, as it is a huge positive for it. But anyway, that's been the Intel Brief. I've been your host, Daniel, and I'll see you again tomorrow. See you.